North 109 or 119?
119.
And that's why. Okay. All right, Tom.
And I'll be able to get a polygraph done over the statement, right?
You can...
Because I want you guys to really know I'm telling the truth.
Okay, sure. You're going to have a polygraph done probably anyway, you know, so, yeah. It'll run over everything that you've told us. Is that fair enough? Okay. Okay. I'd like to advise you that I'm a police officer. You understand that? I need a yes or no. You have a right to remain silent, not make any statements or answer any of my questions. You understand that? Anything that you may say can be and will be used against you in a court of law. You understand that? You have a right to talk to a lawyer and have a lawyer with you during questioning. You understand that? If you cannot afford a lawyer, you have the right to have a lawyer appointed for you prior to questioning at no cost to you. Do you understand that? Knowing your rights in this matter, are you willing to answer some questions and make some statements to me now? Are you willing to waive and do without the service of an attorney at this time? Okay, Tom. I need you to sign this and make sure that this is your answers. You'll sign right there. Okay. I never get it right with these little felt tips worth of shit. I'm gonna countersign this. Okay, Tom. The reason why I'm here is at your request. Is that correct? You apparently asked the jailer when they come back check on you that you wanted to talk to me. Okay. And the reason why you want to talk to me is because I want to get this thing all out. All right? Now, apparently you have several things to say that are a little different than what you've said before. Is that correct?
Some of them.
Okay. So why don't I just let you tell me what you want to tell me here, put it in your own words, and go from start to finish, okay? Because you kind of know what the situation is, what we've talked about. And then I'll just sit here and listen, and then if I have some questions, I'll ask you about it. So fair enough? Would that be easier for you? Or do you want me to ask you?
What?
You want me to question you, or do you want to just tell it?
I can tell you.
Go for it.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Start from the beginning.
It was on February 5th.
Okay, now you know that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what was the weather like? I just checked you now and see how do you know it was
It was
February?
really like, it was coldish down.
Okay,
Sort of.
was it pretty cold?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go.
And we went to this party over there on that was Court Street,
Mm-hmm.
where it was that apartment building where Mrs. Wilson lived. And we went to this party, and it was clear up on the 3rd floor.
Gonzalez's place?
I don't know for sure.
Linda Gonzalez?
I can't remember the name.
Lobo's girlfriend?
Yeah, it was somebody like that.
Okay.
But we went to this party, and we were partying, and everybody was drinking. And I think it was about, we got there anywhere from about 10:20 on.
Okay.
To about 10:30, quarter to 11, about 11:15. And then they were drinking shots, and I was drinking shots, and I started getting, so I didn't feel good. So I left. And this is the honest God truth, I did. A polygraph, I'll tell you whatever. But I left, and I walked home to my apartment on 9th Street at that time. And the reason why I walked home is because Beth, Lobo, JoAnn wanted to stay for a little while longer at the party because they weren't drinking quite as fast as I was doing shots with the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was about 3:34 in the morning, they show up with my car, which I knew they were going to bring the car back because Beth was living with me and everybody was living with me. And they took and they brought the car back and everything. And Lobo had blood on his clothes. JoAnn had a little blood on her blouse and scratches. And we took and they sat down and they explained to me what happened. And just like I told you in my last statement, the part that I said I knew, that because I was in the apartment and everything, that was not true, because...
Well, I don't believe that right now. You're lying. Okay? I've got people arrested that are sitting here telling me exactly what happened. And that's why they're arrested. They've confessed.
I wasn't in the...
Bullshit, Tom. You were there. I got people telling me exactly what you did to that woman. Don't sit here and lie to me. I'm not going to listen to this shit.
Okay.
If you're just going to blow smoke.
I'll go back, because I know I'm not lying.
Well, something's wrong.
I wasn't there.
How come everybody says you were?
I don't know. And that's why I can't figure it out either, but I'm not lying. And I'm not going to do time and maybe death or something for something I did not do. No, I wouldn't lie. I got a letter from Beth in jail in Lincoln. And she told me exactly what to tell you because you'd be coming up to talk to me in that letter. When did you get that letter? I got it. It was right after you talked to me on the 15th. I received the letter.
What did she tell you?
She told me point blank. She said, tell him that you were in there and that you heard the lady scream and that all that stuff. Everything I told you the other night.
Why did she tell you to tell me that?
Because she said that she, Lobo, and JoAnn would testify that I did not leave the party and everything if I turned them in. And one person, they're not going to believe one person over three.
No, why would, no, wait a minute. Why would they want to take the guilt and leave you out free?
Leave me out free?
Yeah. I mean, somebody did this. Did they do it?
Yes, they did.
Well, how come, so they wanted you to tell that Lobo and them did it, and you're free?
Beth wanted me to tell Lobo.
Tell on them?
Tell Lobo and JoAnn did it.
Okay,
so that way
you know what the problem is?
Be...
Guess who else is at that damn thing? Guess who else is at the crime scene?
Who?
Beth. And guess who else is there, according to what everybody's telling us? We've arrested Lobo. We've arrested JoAnn. They're sitting in there. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. I know that.
And there's two other people out on the street that are going to testify that all four of you guys are in that apartment. That's the problem.
Well,
and you know what?
Why?
I don't know. Well, hey, we're going to have to...
How am I supposed to approve?
We're going to leave it up. We're going to leave it up to the testimony, and then I guess the jury's going to have to decide that. I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you what everybody's telling me, and their stories all jive. Now, you see what the problem is, Tom?
I tell the truth.
Well, I'm not sure you are. You lied to me with your attorney. You've lied to everybody else before.
And I told my attorney tonight when he called. I told him why I lied.
Where'd you get the blood on your coat when they arrested you up there? They checked your coat when you was arrested in Lincoln. You know that?
Uh-huh. I didn't have no blood on my coat when I was arrested in Lincoln.
Well, shit.
Well, if you don't want to believe me, fine. You can take me back to my cell and we'll just wait until my attorney comes and I'll tell him and whatever goes from there. But I know I'm telling the truth. And I know lie detector test will prove it because I was not there. And all those...
Why does everybody try to put you there?
I don't know. I really don't. Beth, I can understand probably why.
You know, I'm going to tell you something now. We've got a lot of evidence in that crime scene. We've got all kinds of stuff that come off that woman and everything else. I'm just going to tell you this. And if I match anything of that up to you, it don't make shit what you tell me. I'm telling you that right now. It won't make shit. Plus the fact what the people are saying. I mean, I've got people that are admitting their guilt, okay? That'll tell me that you were there with them and that you've done certain things to that woman.
Of course they're going to tell you that. You guys put it in the paper, point blank.
I didn't put it in the... Whoa, wait a minute. I didn't put nothing in the paper.
The paper the other night, Thursday night. You had it in that paper so described, and I'm sure Beth...
No, I didn't. Now, who prints the goddamn paper?
Well, I don't know whether
Don't blame me for it then, okay?
Whoever gave the statement, okay? And all that, no wonder.
No wonder what? That was after they were arrested. They didn't even know that.
Arrested.
Oh, yeah.
I said that was after they were arrested.
They had no knowledge of that. So that doesn't have anything to do with what they're saying, okay?
I've had to deal with this 4 years. I know I wasn't there. I know the people that came back to my apartment. I know the people that did it. And I've had to live with this.
Could there have been anybody else other than the three?
There could have been other people than the three. The only three I seen after it was done was them. I don't know about anybody that was up at that party otherwise. Could have went with them when they did it. I don't know nothing about that. All I know is what I was told. That is all.
How come your car's down there?
My car was left there because I walked home because I was drinking.
Did you happen to go over to American Charter and stand in there for a while?
It was cold.
Did you go over to American Charter and stand in
Yes,
there?
I did. Because I was going to go home, but it was
So you're
cold.
the one that was standing there when the guy came in and got some money that night?
Probably. Because it was colder than shit out, and I was drunk, and I was going home. And you can put me on a lie detector test or whatever, you can prove it to court, but on that lady, you're not going to find nothing off me. And if you want to take me back to my cell, take me, but I know I did not do it, and I know I was not in that lady's apartment. I don't even know where the lady lives. I don't even know which apartment was hers. It's just like when you asked me in Lincoln the other night whose apartment it was, where her apartment was located. I can't tell you because I don't know. And I didn't have Beth's letter in front of me to tell me everything.
Why didn't you tell us that then? How come you sat there and lied then?
Because, one, I've still loved Beth ever since I married her. She was the first one I ever married, the first girl I ever dated, and I'll probably love her for the rest of my life. That's why I've covered her ass on everything for 4 years now. Because I didn't want to see her put in a pin, for one thing, because she kept telling me she didn't have that much to do with it. Everybody else was involved in it. She was just more like a stand there. She was a watch out, like.
But she knew it happened.
She knew it happened.
Didn't she?
Yes.
And she seen it too.
Yes, she did.
And she was probably in there when it happened.
I don't know about that. She never said that. All I know is Lobo, her, and JoAnn were there the night the lady died. I don't even know what time the lady died. I don't even know nothing. They didn't tell me any of that. All they came back to the thing and told me is that my car was there and the blood on them and everything, and I asked them what happened, and they told me this lady suffocated and all this other stuff, and that was it. And that's all they told me for another year. And then Beth came forward a year after we were married, because we got married on the 9th of February.
You know, we're looking for a certain type of blood. Do you know what type that is?
I have no idea what type.
We're looking for type B positive.
Well, it ain't mine.
You know what was on your coat when they arrested you in Lincoln?
What?
Type B positive.
Well, it's not my blood.
Hey, that's right. It's not your blood. But
And that coat was just bought, the jean jacket, and you can ask my wife this.
hey, I'm going with what they're telling me out of the state lab now. That's all I'm telling you.
Okay, but let me tell you. You can ask my wife when that coat was bought. Because I just bought it for her. That is her jean jacket I had in Lincoln when I was arrested.
Okay.
So you ask me.
I'm just telling you what I've been told, see?
And my mom knows, because I bought it on Sears credit card, and you can even check my Sears credit card. Run the check on the paperwork on that. It'll show you the jean jacket and the price that was bought.
Okay, you see there's a lot of people blowing a lot of smoke around them maybe, huh?
I know they are. And I'm not going down for something I didn't do. So if I have to fight
Mom,
it for
if you
jury,
didn't do it, I don't
fine.
want you going down. Okay? I don't want you
I
going
didn't.
down.
I was not there that night. I lied for Beth when you came and asked me the first times around.
So
Because
now,
I loved
here's
her and
the
I
whole
went
thing.
ahead
You're
and
going to
married
tell
her.
me something, and I want you to tell me everything that you know that Beth told you then, okay? I want that down in black and white tonight. Fair enough?
Yeah.
I want it in black and white. Because that's the only way I can get to the end of this thing. That's the only way that maybe I can show if you're innocent, you're innocent. Right?
I'm innocent. I was not there when that lady got murdered. I was in that apartment that night for a party, but that was all.
Who else was at that party?
There was Linda, the lady that owned it.
All right.
Her daughters. She had 2 daughters. Lobo, JoAnn, me, Beth, this other guy, I don't even remember.
Who was that other guy? That's maybe what we need to know. Had you seen him? Had he been around before around you?
I'd seen him once before.
With who?
With Lobo and but I don't know his name. But that's all the people that were there that night. While I was there. Whether any more came after me, I don't know.
Is that a photo lineup you just brought in?
Nah, fuck, that's wrong. I know now.
He was there.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, sir.
No.
Raymond.
Huh?
His name's Raymond.
He was there.
Because he was the one that was dating Linda before Lobo started dating, and they fought about it because Lobo took over Linda.
Is that a police lineup you just brought in?
Yep. Total of 5 pictures.
We'll hold that up so we can see it on camera.
Was there anybody else there, Tom?
That other guy. But I can't remember his name. And he's not on there.
What did he look like?
He has a beard, and he wears it where it hangs right about here. And his hair's long, about the middle of his back, and he wears it in a piggy tail. And he has one tattoo of a leopard on his right arm.
Did you ever hear the name James
Because
Dean?
I'm interested in tattoos. I don't know why, it just fascinates me with different people, why they would put one on their body.
Tattoo of a leopard on the left arm?
And what it means. And everything, and
Listen, before we go any farther here, this interview that we're doing, was this at your request?
yes, it was.
And how did you request this interview to be done?
I just asked the guard that came back to myself.
You asked the jailer, asked to come back and check if you could talk to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was totally on your own free will.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize, I have Mirandized you, is that correct?
Yes.
And this is the Miranda form that you signed?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the answers that you give me?
Yep.
And you also realize that you do, quote, have an attorney, but you waive the right to your attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
So as far as you're concerned, this is on your own free will, and you will do without the service of an attorney at this time.
At this time, yes. I'd say approximately 11:30, 12 o'clock at the latest. And then we proceeded to go home to our residence, which was on 9th. We lived in an apartment building on 9th.
And where was that located? Where was that apartment building located on 9th Street?
On that street, Mantonella.
Okay. And would that have been the one you alluded to in your earlier statement that was behind Beatrice Supermarket?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was 10 corner from us. And
We need to talk up now.
okay, we took and we went home, and I think we sat up for a little while, and then we went to bed. Because we had discussed about my car coming back, and I knew they'd bring it back. And the next morning, I'd say early morning hours, I'm not approximately for sure the time, my car arrived, and JoAnn and Lobo came into the apartment, because they had a key of their own because they were staying there off and on.
So if I understand right, JoAnn and Lobo brought your car back to your apartment, and that was the early morning the following day. And do you remember what date that may have been?
I'm not for sure the date. I'd say the February 6th.
Okay. Was that the following morning after, as you know it today, to have been the occurrence of the homicide of Helen Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, now
And
you go.
then they took, and after they came in the house, they hollered at me and Beth, which we were still in bed. I'd say, because usually we got out of work from about 10 o'clock in the morning, usually. And because I worked night shift, so I really didn't do anything besides we ran around during the day because I worked night shift with Marshall's truck stop. And we took and got up, they came in the house, and I went to the bathroom, and they were in the kitchen. Lobo was washing his hands in the sink, and they were talking in there in semi-low voices. Why they were fixing eggs. I think they were fixing eggs and bacon that morning or something like that, and toast. And JoAnn mentioned Joseph Wyatt Lobo. I know him better as Lobo.
Okay, pick your volume up a little.
And they were in there fixing the breakfast for their spouse. And they hollered if we wanted any, and I said no, and Beth said no. And then they took, and I was coming out of the bedroom after going to the restroom. I got out of bed, went to the restroom, came out of the bedroom, and I was lighting a cigarette by the end table, which we had an end table that sat there right outside the door next to the kitchen door. And I overheard JoAnn ask in a low semi voice, she asked Lobo if they should tell me anything that went on because my car was involved. And at that time, I proceeded to go into the kitchen and get a glass of milk out of the refrigerator. And all I asked them was, I said, did you put gas back in my car? Is everything okay with my car? And JoAnn looked at me with the strangest look on her face. And she wouldn't really say anything, but she said, if anyone comes and questions you about your car, you know nothing. Period. And then they left. After they ate, they sat down and ate and everything, and Beth was up at that time. And they left. And they came back approximately, well, I'd say mid-evening, probably. I'd say 5:36, because we were just fixing something to eat. We just got back from visiting some friends of ours. And we fixed something to eat. And they came in, and they sat down, and we were talking and joking around and everything. And they said that they were going to be leaving, that they had to, Lobo's husband had a job out of state that he had to go to, and JoAnn was going with him.
They were going to be leaving from where?
They weren't going to be staying with us no more.
Okay.
Because they had other things they had to do, and which we said fine, and they left, and that was the last time I've seen them.
You haven't seen them since?
No.
During the time that you were riding around Beatrice, you said you thought it was approximately 10:30 or in that area that evening of February 5th. Is that right?
Approximately 10:30 that evening.
Was the Lobo and JoAnn in your car when you finally let him drive?
It was about, I'd say, anywhere from about 10:10 to 10:30, somewhere in between that area.
Did you see your vehicle at any other location in the area or around the apartment building or anything like that after you had got out?
They parked it in front of the Doyle's earlier, but no, they never came up to the apartment or anything. They just parked the car there and the keys were not in the car, so.
And what time was that?
I'd say between 1 and 1:30. 12 and 12:30.
In the early morning hours?
Mm-hmm. Because we were just getting ready to leave, and that's when we noticed the car, and we checked to see if the keys were there because we were going to take our car.
So the car was parked out on Ella Street in front of Doyle Florals in the 500 block Ella, but you did not see JoAnn or Lobo?
No, I did not.
And the keys were in it? Okay. During the time you were riding around also that evening, did they make any other statements to you about, you stated that they said something about robbing an old lady. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did they make any other statements to you about anything else that might happen or that they were thinking about doing?
No, because the minute they mentioned anything about robbing, I didn't want no part of that. I just want to go back to the apartment, and whatever they did with their lives after that was their own problem.
Is it possible that one or the other of the two, JoAnn or Lobo, may have said something about harming an old lady in some way, shape, or form?
Oh yeah, they had said that.
Would you like to tell me what you might have heard them say?
Okay, in the morning when they brought my car back, all that they said really was that, well, in their words, I'll try to put it in their words as well as I remember. JoAnn said to Lobo that the woman is probably seriously hurt, and Tom's car was in the area, and they're going to be asking questions about his car and everything, and he's going to wonder what's going on. Should we explain any details to him? And Lobo said no.
Now that was overheard by you in your household the morning of February 6th.
The morning they brought my car back.
During the time you were driving around, and during the time, who made the statement to you about robbing an old lady? Which?
It came out of Lobo's mouth.
Did he tell you why? Do you recall?
I never asked no questions about why.
Did he ever allude to the fact that they needed any money or anything prior to that at any time?
Well, they had talked weeks before that they wanted to go back to California and stuff. They'd been discussing that off and on.
Did they ever make, either one of them, make any statements to you that you recall about something else that they might do that night also? Was there anything else that may have been stated to you about something else that they might do to an old lady other than robbing her? Do you recall anything? Could have there been any statement made to you about possibly raping an old lady that you recall?
No. I can't.
Did either individual make any comment as to what location they were going to do anything to an old lady or whom the old lady might be? Did they name the individual?
They didn't name the individual. They said it was in the area that they were. It was in Beatrice area, that they weren't taking my car out of town. That's mainly what they said, and that it was just in the main area of Beatrice.
Tom, during your endeavors of riding around with JoAnn and Lobo, did you ever go to the apartment building where that homicide took place and ever park in that area while you were with them?
While I was with them. I think possibly a few times, because I can't recall, it's been too long ago, of who was the person that lived there that Lobo's seen a few times there, but I can't tell you who the person is because I can't recall.
Okay, Tom, but I'm talking about the night when you were driving around with Lobo and JoAnn in your car. You were driving first.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to borrow it. You were thinking about letting them use it. At a certain point in time while you're riding around with them, you let Lobo drive the car. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
During that time span, after you left Beth off at the old Floral apartment, where Charlotte Bishop was living, did
Yes.
you have an occasion to go and park anywhere near the apartment house where this incident occurred? Did you recall? That same night. And you also realize that you have the use immunity situation that was discussed between your attorney and Richard Smith, the county attorney in Gage County. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that basically was that if you told the truth and you did not become a direct involvement with this case, then fine. But if you did lie, or if we found that we could prove that you were directly involved, then your use immunity was out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Is that the way you understood that?
Yep.
So basically, you was the one that wanted to talk tonight, and you're the one that requested to get this off your chest or whatever you're doing.
Yep.
Okay. You can't remember this gentleman's name?
I can't remember it, and I only seen him that once that night, and I was drinking, so I don't remember him. I just remember Raymond because they had differences, him and Lobo over Linda a lot. That's the only reason I remember him. And he was up there that night drinking too. But he only stayed for a few minutes because him and Lobo got jealous of him.
Where did you see these people at afterwards, after you said that they done what they done because you seen blood on them?
They came back to the apartment.
What apartment?
The one I had rented on night.
You walked home.
Mm-hmm. Sure did. That's not a lie either.
What else did she tell you then that happened up there?
All that.
If quote, this happened, I need to know everything she told you.
Okay. Beth said in her letter that she talked about her little girl at the beginning of her letter, and about how Ellen was in Japan for murder and everything, and she could not stand to go to murder, and she hoped that I still had enough feelings left to keep it a secret longer, because she knew you were coming to talk to me. And I thought about it, and I thought about the kid and everything. And then you guys told me that the most I'd be looking at is probably a 0 to 5 and 7.
I didn't tell you that. Who told you that?
I don't remember exactly.
Was it the county attorney and your attorney that advised you that? Am I right?
Yeah.
It wasn't no police officer?
No, but
Okay.
and you kept pushing like I was supposed to been there at the scene. And then I kept having Beth's letter flash.
You know why I did that? Because you told your attorney that you knew about the thing, right? So isn't it my job to find out what you know about it?
Yes.
And you remember what you all told me the other night? You do? And that was all told you by Beth?
That was all written in paper.
Where's that letter at?
I disposed of it when I got out of jail.
How come you just happened to get rid of things?
Because I had told you that statement. And I figured that I could bury it until I seen the psychiatrist on Tuesday. And that's why the other night I came down here, and you can ask Kim because she was working, specifically at 9:30 or 9:15, somewhere in between there. Because my conscience was bothering me because I was thinking about that polygraph that I was going to have to pass for saying I was in that apartment and stuff, and I knew I wouldn't pass it because I wasn't there. And it had me upset. I was worried because I knew I had that polygraph would hit me, and what would I do? I would have to try to lie on it and say, yes, I was there. And then if I said that, it's going to go everything all over the place. And then everything would have been thrown out of the water anyway. So I came down the other night and you weren't here because I was going to tell you then. I was going to tell you point blank exactly what I've told you tonight. I was going to tell you about the letter. I was going to tell you about them coming back. I was going to tell you about the blood on their clothes.
Okay, see, now this is the second story we've got out of here, or maybe the third. Right? The third story. Actually, you told me first time I ever talked to you that, you know, Lobo and JoAnn did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never included anybody else, right? And then the next time I talked to you, you got yourself involved in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're telling me another story. This is the third story, Tom. The third story. Now, you see what I'm saying to you? Which one do I believe? You know, how in the hell can I believe you? That's my question. How can I believe anything that you tell me now, Tom?
That's probably true.
Even if I want to, and I hope you're telling me the truth.
I am telling you the truth.
See, but, you know, it's just like if you've done this to Mr. Smith or Mr. Berry, what do we expect to believe?
I was worried.
Yeah, no doubt. You've been worried 2 or 3 times now.
Now, I've told you what this story, and this story is the true one. If you don't want to believe it, that's fine. I'll go back to my cell, but I feel better now because it's off my chest. That's why when I called Barry tonight, he told me not to talk to you, not to talk to anybody.
But you made the decision that you did not want to listen to your attorney.
That's right, because I had to get it off my chest. I couldn't just go lay down and go to sleep like he told me to and wait till Monday when he got here. I can't do that. It was on my chest, and I had to get it off. Fuck Beth. Fuck her kid. I really don't care. I hope her kid goes to a foster home because it'd probably be better for it. Now, can I go back to my cell if you're done with me?
Let me think here if I have a couple questions maybe. Okay? Is that all right? I mean, you can go back if you want to.
That's fine.
It's up to you. You can terminate this thing anytime you want to. Right? Because I told you you could. Remember me talking to you about the attempted assaults on some of the older ladies in town?
Mm-hmm.
Could that have possibly been you?
No. I've never assaulted anyone. I've never been involved in a major assault till now. And the reason why I was involved in this one is because of a lot of threats coming out of Clifford's mouth.
See, that's what everybody says. Everybody says that they're threatened by somebody else. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm telling the truth. Because I was supposed to take my lie detector test on that Tuesday up there. And when I was threatened by him, and I know I was, and I know exactly what he said, word for word, and I'll never forget it.
Who threatened you?
Clifford.
What did he say?
Truthfully, he would really like to know exactly what he said. He told me, word for word, that he knows that I knew about this murder all along. And that he would make sure that someone went before the cops and would tell them if I did not cooperate with them in every way.
So you think that's what's happened now?
I have no idea. I really don't.
Well, I don't think it has, because Clifford has no idea where these people were. Neither do they where he was. I'm pretty sure of that.
I have no idea. I know I had told Clifford about it once before. I mentioned about covering Beth and JoAnn and Lobo, and that's when Clark left JoAnn for good and married Debra.
Well, did Beth make any comment as to what took place and why?
Okay, the bedroom door was closed. Did you hear anything?
Just the lady screaming.
And what was she, do you recall what she might have, was she just screaming or did she say anything?
I don't recall what she
Speak up.
I don't recall what she said.
Make sure you talk up, okay, Tom? At that point, you did what?
We left. I panicked. I got upset because when we went to the building, it was just he was going to talk to the lady. And then they had mentioned earlier about an old lady, and they were going to rob her, and then I put two and two together about him must be going to rob her after they pushed the lady into the bedroom, and I started panicking and left.
And your wife at that time, Beth, left with you.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you leave the area?
My car.
And whose car did you take?
Mine, which was sitting outside.
And that was the 73-O's?
Uh-huh.
And where was it parked?
Along in that parking lot area. There's American Charter, and then they got a little parking spots right there.
Okay, so the information that you gave me earlier in this tape about the vehicle being parked in the 500 block alley was not true, is that correct?
That's not true.
You took the car home then? Where did you go when you got in your car? Where did you and Beth go?
We took my car home.
Okay, so then the statement you made earlier, again, about them bringing the car to you early in the morning is not true.
They did not bring the car back to me. Me and Beth took the car from the apartment building and went home.
Okay, at the time that you went into this apartment, do you recall any of the clothing that you may have been wearing?
No, I don't.
Do you recall the coat that you may have been wearing?
No, I don't.
Tom, isn't it true that you only had one coat? Didn't you usually only wear one coat most of the time?
I've had 2 or 3 coats.
Could you possibly own a maroon one?
A maroon
Or a burgundy colored coat?
Burgundy and maroon. I don't think so.
So you don't recall what you might have had
I've
on?
ever owned a maroon coat.
Do you
But I would
recall
call maroon. It depends what maroon is.
burgundy,
Red.
red?
I know I have a yellow coat and a blue coat and a mixed colored coat.
Could it be a deeper wine looking color than that red there?
Parts of it is.
And could it be a similar type of material?
Possibly.
Do you recall anything else? Any other clothing that any other individual might have been wearing that night?
JoAnn had this flingy blouse on. It was one of those real loose ones.
What color was it?
I don't remember for sure. And Lobo had his paint hellish brown colored shirt that he always wore.
Did you have an occasion after you left the apartment building, you and your wife Beth, and you went home, to ever talk to JoAnn or Lobo about the incident that occurred that night?
We brought it up one time, and they just talked about how the lady fought with them, and about the lady getting raped, and Lobo raped her, and JoAnn helped him, but that's all we ever talked about it, and then we all put it behind
Now
it.
talk up. Did they make any comments to you about what each one did? You said Lobo raped her. What was JoAnn doing? Did she tell you what she may have done? Any particular parts about what she may have done?
I can remember that it was said that Lobo raped her.
Who said that?
It came out of Lobo and JoAnn's mouth both.
How did he rape her? Did he tell you what he did?
Not specific. I mean, he didn't tell me every part of it.
Did he tell you any types of things that he may have done to her? Anything? He must have told you something. You're saying he didn't tell you everything. Did he tell you how he raped her?
All he said is that, in other words, that's all. I mean, he didn't tell you what positions or anything like that.
He didn't tell you if he had sex with her by normal vaginal area or by rectum? Did he make any comments that way that you recall?
I think he might have said something about rectum.
No, you either know...
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know, honest.
But he did discuss something.
He did discuss that it was, he had raped, that he did discuss that.
Did either Lobo or JoAnn Taylor make any comments as to what they may have done to the lady that ultimately caused her to die?
No.
Did anybody talk about anything, anybody using any apparatus or anything to suffocate her?
Not to me.
Did you hear him say anything about anything like that?
I don't remember if they did.
Do you recall the morning after or the evening or whenever they arrived at your house, and I'm not sure we got a time on that, do you remember when they actually arrived to your house?
It was in the early morning.
Okay, the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you notice anything about either one of them's appearance that might have indicated that they had been involved in anything?
Lobo had some scratches on his back, and JoAnn had a few on her arms.
Is that the
And
only
there was a
area?
few blood on Lobo's clothes.
Was that the only area you noticed any scratches? If you can, try to picture them talking to you that particular morning.
I can't.
Did they show you the scratches they had, or did you see them?
Lobo showed his on his back, and JoAnn's were noticeable.
And did he tell you how you got them?
He said when he was raping her that she scratched him.
Tom, to the best of your knowledge, is there anything else that you know about this particular homicide that you need to make known to me at this time that I haven't asked you about? Is there anything that you can think of?
No.
Are you willing to take a polygraph test in reference to the questions, in reference to the information that you've made known to me to show that what you've told me is true and accurate?
Yes.
Is there anything that you would like to change or delete from this statement at this time? In other words, is there anything you'd like to subtract out of it?
Just the part about dropping Beth off early at the apartment, and the part about them having my car.
And those you've already admitted to me that earlier in the statement you told me that, and then you told me that those were a lie. Is that correct?
Yes. And any final adding, as for the stuff being done to this woman or anything, I had no part of it.
And you never received any monies or anything that may have been taken?
No, sir.
If there was any?
No, sir.
And from that point on, you have never seen or talked to either Lobo or JoAnn Taylor?
No, I have not. Not since the day they left.
If, due to this conversation that we've had in the presence of your attorney, Mr. Berry, something jogs your memory, is that possible that you would make that known to Mr. Berry?
If anything else pops into my memory, that I have not said here today, I will make it notable to my attorney right away and he can get in contact with you, or I will myself.
And the information, again, that you've given me in this statement now would be true and accurate to the best of your knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes. That's it.
Would you speak up, please?
Yes.
This statement was ended at 10:04 p.m., March 14th, 1989.
Exactly what she told me in the letter was that they were drinking. The next thing she knows, they're in this lady's apartment. The next thing she knows after that, the lady's screaming. JoAnn puts the pillow over the lady's head. Lobo's on top of the lady, and Beth Ann's standing there watching it all. According, and I heard it out of Lobo's and JoAnn's mouth when they first came back to the apartment that night.
Pillow over her head?
Mm-hmm. The first night.
Did she say where that happened?
What?
Where did that happen in the house?
It happened in our bedroom.
So they attacked her in the bed?
Yep. And Lobo took and you're confusing me now.
No, I'm not. No, you're telling me. I'm just...
Okay, I was... Because you keep asking me things in between when I'm talking.
Okay.
But she was standing there, and Lobo and JoAnn both told me, along with Beth, when she came back to the apartment, that the only thing Beth was involved in is she stood there and she watched it.
But JoAnn was directly involved?
Mm-hmm. So whether it's truthfully that she was not involved in it, I have no idea. But that's what made me believe it for years, and I've never turned her in. That's why when you came the first time and asked me about JoAnn and Lobo, I was not worried about turning them in.
Did they say how did they gain control of this older lady? She probably said something about that, didn't she?
I don't think she ever said
Was there
that.
anything used to help gain control?
I don't know about that.
She ain't anything about a knife?
No. I just told you that's all I know about it. Just what I've seen, but I was never in that lady's apartment. I was never there.
Did she say if it all took place in the bedroom?
She never said. And I didn't quiz because I just imagined it never happened because we were supposed to be married 3 days later.
And you were?
I went ahead and married her because I loved her. I loved her at the time. And there's still feelings there because I imagine that's why I've had a hard time for 4 years with it.
So how do I account now for the other witnesses that aren't involved in this that, quote, said you drove your car into that place and parked it that night?
I did when we went to the party.
And what time was that?
I'd say it was about 10:20 when we got there, the party.
See, that's everything I've told you, right? I mean, I've told you this too.
I'm not for sure what time we got there, no. But I know we cruised Beatrice and then we went to this party. The Lobo said we wanted to go to this party. I don't know. I told you what I know.
Well, Tom, okay, look, guess we're going to have to work it, filter it, whatever, okay? You've told me this now, all right? You told me what you told me in Lincoln the other night with your attorney. Okay, we believe that to be fact. And then you told me what you told me the first time you talked to me. And you told me what you told me the other time ahead of that, way back in '85, right? And from every one of them, you've lied, see? Up until now, I got to see if you're telling me the truth now, and I've got ways to check this out. And that's what I'm going to have to do, okay? You know, I guess we'll probably see if we can get blood from you, and probably hair and everything else, send it in the lab, see if it matches with anything.
Okay, that's fine. Blood, there's no problem.
I know you told me
They
what
did have
type.
blood test once.
What type was it?
A positive.
And how did they take the test?
At the hospital.
Right here? And you went down there?
Yep, the cop one took me.
Which
I
one?
loved it too.
Which officer?
I think it was Curl that met me there. I can't remember.
Officer Curl.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't remember.
And they drew the blood down here and had it typed out.
It was up there and then
And they come out as?
A positive. Same as my mom's. And if you like any hair, you can take any hair you want because I was not there.
Well, I'm just saying that we're probably going to have to do this.
That's fine, go ahead. Because I'm not scared, because I'm not lying. I don't care what happens to Beth no more. I don't care what happens to JoAnn, and I don't care what happens to Lobo. They rot in jail for the rest of their life, that's their problem. But I'm not going down for something I didn't do. I lied
I don't want you
to
going
cover
down.
their asses
Nobody wants you to go down for something you
for
didn't
too
do.
many years, and the psychiatric help I need, and I have my appointment for Wednesday, and hopefully he'll come and see me here. If I'm still here,
Who you seeing?
it's out at Gage County Medical.
Well, then they'll probably be here.
And I've needed this help for 4 years, and I've seen psychiatrists off and on between the suicide attempts and letting too many things build in my mind where I can't handle it. I've had problems with my marriages because of this being on my mind all the time. I don't need them no more. I just want to get this shit over with and be done with it.
You and me both. Believe me.
Oh, I want to do
You and me both.
So if you want hair, you can have this hair, any hair you want. I don't care. Because I know I wasn't there. And I think what really made me come forward, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, is the thought of life in the pen and lying for people to and going. I can't serve a life term on a lie. I can't. I mean, I'll do almost anything for my friends, and you can ask any psychiatrist that I've been to. I will do anything. And that's the type of person I am. I'm one of those people that have to have friends. I have to make friends. Or I get insecure. I get scared because I feel I can't make friends. So I'll do things. If my friends talk me into things, I'll do it because I want to keep them as friends. But never a murder, never a lady. I've been to CSM for 5 years, and
But you have
I
played a part.
worked in old homes, and I even worked with this lady's daughter. You know how hard this lady's granddaughter. You know how hard it was at work. Not when Jan was crying on my shoulder and stuff, not to tell her about Beth, JoAnn, and Lobo.
Jan.
Grabowski. You know how hard it was?
Jan Grabowski. Oh.
And then to top it all off, when she found out the other night in the paper that I was doing this, she told Lori, a friend of hers, that she can't believe that I sympathized with her and everything, knowing who did the murder. And you know how low that makes me feel? Because I've held it for this long.
Well,
Just because I was in love with one person, which I wish to God I would have never met her in the first place. Because it was the first one I ever fell in love with, and I still have feelings for her. I think that's why I've had problems with my other marriages, along with this damn homicide thing. Not being able to handle it. But she was the one for me, I thought, for life. And we only lasted not even a year before I filed for divorce because I couldn't cope with it no more. I couldn't cope lying for her, seeing her, and she was sleeping out with Alan Bishop all the time, sleeping with him and everything. I just couldn't handle it, so I divorced her. And I've lied for her ever since then, and I'm not lying for her no more. And I'm sorry, but I should not have lied to you all the times I've lied to you. And if you don't believe me, I don't blame you, but I'm telling the truth.
well, it's just made it difficult for us because now, you know where I'm coming from.
I understand.
See, as far as I'm concerned,
But the only reason
you're a good liar.
The only reason I have lied
Well, like you say,
those other times is because I still had feelings for her enough that I wanted to believe she was not connected in it completely. And that's why when you came and asked me the first time about JoAnn Lobo, I told you about them too. Because I didn't care whether they got prosecuted or not, because I know they did it.
you know they did it.
I know they did it. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind Lobo's going to... There's no doubt in my mind anyway. There's no doubt in my mind JoAnn had the guts to hold the pillow over her head either. There's no doubt at all.
Is that what happened?
There's no doubt.
Huh? Is that what she did?
It's what Beth says she did. What I told you the other night in Lincoln came right out of Beth's mouth on paper. And the few things that they told me when they came back that night, but otherwise.
What do you remember they told you when they came back that night?
Just that this lady got seriously hurt, and that they thought maybe she was dead, and it had blood on the clothes, and just gross stuff like that. And now I feel better. and I'd like to go back to my cell.
Was one of them injured?
They had scratches. JoAnn and Lobo did. That's why she had a little blood on her blouse. That's why I didn't believe she was majorly involved.
Well, Tom, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, okay, and I'll legitimately try to see what I can do with it, okay? Is that fair enough?
That's fine. I feel
Either way, if I
100%
prove that you're involved, then I have to prove it that way. If I can prove that you're innocent, I want to do that also, okay?
Well,
That's my job.
I wasn't there.
We go either way.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Prove it either way you want. But I know I'm innocent.
Again, before we stop this was your request. I was called, I was off duty, and I was called at home to come in and talk to you.
Did we go while Lobo was driving my car?
You
or
or
while I was driving my car?
Anytime.
Park in that parking lot.
Anytime that you were with them.
We could have. I'm not for sure.
Okay, if you remember, I asked you a question once about you having been seen in that area. Do you recall that?
Mm-hmm.
And you told me no, it couldn't have been you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is that true and accurate statement that you made?
It could have been me in that area, yes.
Did you ever get out of your car in that area?
Not that I know of. I don't think so.
Are you having problems remembering, or you know, is it possible that you would rather not say?
I'm having trouble remembering.
Okay, if you recall,
Everything
I'll reiterate my question to you again. I've asked you this before, and I told you why I asked you. It's been said that you were seen getting out of your car, which your car was positively identified to me as being a 73 Oldsmobile Cutlass, brown over green, right?
Yes.
And that it was seen possibly parking, and you, Beth, Lobo, and JoAnn Taylor getting out of your car in the parking lot, which is directly east of that apartment house. Is that true or false?
It's true.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
Because in this statement or the other statements or what?
In any statement.
I just didn't want to be seen that I was at the episode at the place where the lady was.
Okay, Tom, so I really understand what took place. And I'm going to ask you a couple more questions now that I don't think anybody's probably asked you, okay? And I'm going to ask those, and you're in the presence of your counsel, Mr. Barry, okay? And if you recall, before this interview started, he told you to be true and accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Did he not?
Yes, he did.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you these questions. I want a true and accurate statement, to the best of your knowledge.
Okay.
Did you ever go in that building with JoAnn or Lobo when you parked your car that night?
Did I went into the apartment building, yes.
Did you go in there?
But I did not go in.
Okay. Did you happen to go to the area of the apartment where this lady was assaulted?
I don't know that for sure.
Did you
I know
go?
we went into the building.
Where did you go when you went in the building?
We went to an apartment.
And do you remember where that apartment was located in that building?
It was on the lower floor.
Did you make contact with anybody? Did you?
They knocked.
Did anybody come to the door?
Nothing I can remember.
What happened then?
Then we left, and like I said, then we took, and everyone took their, I left, I went over to Charlotte's along with Beth, they took my car for a while, and then everything went from there.
Okay, now think about this. If you stopped there to go into that building, there had to be a reason, right? What was the reason for going in there, and why were they trying to make contact with whomever they tried?
Lobo wanted to talk to the person.
What person?
He never said for sure name.
Okay. As you entered the apartment building,
Mm-hmm.
did you do that from the east end or the west end? 6th Street's here, apartment building sets here, okay? The parking lot's here. Okay, when you went in that door, located on the east end of that apartment building, did you go up the stairs or down the stairs?
Seriously, I'm not.
Okay, Tom, let me help you refresh your memory a little bit. I think there's still a few things you're not telling me, okay? And I want you to be true, because I you know, as you've been advised by your attorney before this interview started, remember, other people are going to be contacted by us, okay? Now, I don't want to leave here tonight believing that you were telling us the truth, and when I talk to some other people, I find out that you're still not quite telling me everything you know, okay? I don't think you are yet, okay? So why don't you tell me the whole story now? Why don't you tell me everything you know, okay? I have a little feeling that maybe you know a little more yet than you're telling me. Am I right or wrong? Tom?
Everything that I know.
Am I right or wrong? Have you left something out yet?
Possibly, but I'm having a hard time remembering everything.
Okay, do you need a little time to think about that?
Yes, I do.
You want to shut it off a minute? This is Deputy Search of the Gage County Sheriff's Department, now resuming the videotape statement of Thomas W. Winslow. This tape was stopped at 9:11 p.m. on March 14th, 1989 for purposes of allowing Mr. Winslow to visit with his attorney, Mr. Berry. We're now resuming, and the time is 9:55 p.m. Do you recall, Mr. Winslow, at the time we stopped the tape, we were talking about how or where you went into the apartment building? Do you recall that?
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Yep.
now step me through what you did and who you were with and where you went after you entered that apartment complex?
We went into the apartment building, and we went into Helen Wilson's apartment.
Okay, how did you get to Helen Wilson's apartment? Do you recall that?
No, I don't.
Could have you had to go up some stairs?
Yeah, we could have.
Do you remember that, or is that something you're letting me tell you?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
No.
You did go to her apartment?
Yes, we did.
All four of you? Or how many people went there? And name them.
All four of us.
And who was that?
Beth, Winslow, myself, JoAnn Taylor, and Lobo.
Okay, now remember to talk up. When you went to her apartment building, did you have a purpose in mind when you went up there to her door?
Do we have a purpose?
Were you
in mind?
thinking about anything that you were going to do? What was your intentions?
Lobo wanted to talk to the lady. That was the first thing.
Okay. After you arrived to the door of her apartment building, now make sure you talk up and give me answers. What did you do? How did you enter the apartment? What took place?
I don't remember how we entered the apartment. I don't. But after we got into the apartment, we took, and Lobo and we were talking back and forth. Lobo and that lady were talking back and forth. I'm not for sure exactly what it was, but there was a little argument thing, and then the lady started for the phone, and Lobo pushed her out of the way of the phone, pushed her into the bedroom. JoAnn followed, and at that time, I heard the lady scream, and I exited.
You exited?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go alone?
Beth went on with me.
Beth?
We didn't stay in the building after they
Where
went.
did you go then when you left?
Just back out to the car.
Okay, now going back to when you entered the apartment building, where were you located in her apartment at the time you observed Lobo to be having a discussion or, in your words, possibly an argument with the lady? Where were you located?
The living room, I think.
Were you seated or standing?
I don't remember that.
Did you have an occasion to become involved with any of the activity inside that apartment building before you left?
No, sir.
Did you observe anybody else have any involvement?
Just them go to the bedroom and the lady. And I'm not absolutely sure. I'm trying to jog my memory back. But I think we opened the door and saw them attacking this woman, but I'm not positively for sure.
Okay, now
my memory's not completely back. Okay.
You keep thinking about what you just told me, okay? Now, you're standing in the living room, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And where's Beth at?
I'm not for sure where she's...
Okay, you observed Lobo to become involved in some type of a discussion with the lady.
Yes.
He then pushes her into the bedroom.
Uh-huh.
He goes on in behind her or pushes her on in, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And JoAnn follows.
Mm-hmm.
How come you could not observe what was going on in the bedroom?
The bedroom door was closed.